So you've clicked on this video because you're fed up of being tired 24/7. Maybe you always feel the need to nap during the day. Maybe you're struggling to stay focused. And maybe you even have days where, you're really disciplined and you feel like you're fixed and you've got everything back on track. But yet the next day you just fall straight back into your old habits again, and you're fed up of this shit. You're fed up of not having the ruthlessness to be able to stick to a routine consistently. You see other people killing it on Instagram and you hate that this bothers you, and you desperately want to just have a little bit of self-control like they seemingly do, so you can achieve the things that you're capable of. And I get it, man, because I know exactly how this feels. But by doing these 5 things that I'm about to share with you right now, I was able to literally transform myself from being an absolute lazy piece of shit to a real disciplined veteran of the game. Dare I say so myself. And I'll get more into my story in a second. But first of all, I need you to know that for you to become more disciplined, you need to know your reason why, okay? Do you even need to be more disciplined? Because believe it or not, for some people, having discipline won't necessarily change their life that much. They already have a lot of luxury. They already have a lot of freedom. They already have a lot of money. They already have health. But if you don't have these things, which is pretty much every fucker watching this video, then yes, you absolutely do need to become more disciplined as a man. Maybe you need it so that you can give back to your family. Maybe you need it so that you can get in serious shape. Maybe you need it so that you can feel better mentally. And if you have reasons like this, what you want to be doing is actually writing them down on a piece of paper and then sticking them up on your wall so that you are constantly being able to be reminded about why you need this and why you need to be more disciplined. And this is what's going to help you to stay consistent, okay? You have to need this. That is the mindset that you need to be able to do this, man. Now, as promised, let me tell you a bit more about my story, because I can't believe I used to live like this. But basically, I'd wake up in the morning and one of the first things that I would do, after I'd been for a piss and whatever, was go straight on my phone to see if my Clash of Clans village had been raided. To which, of course, it always had been. Every single day, I got destroyed on this bloody game. The Hog Riders, man, I swear, just every single day, mate. But because of this, I used to spend hours upon hours just researching and reading this Clash of Clans wiki page online, just so that I could kind of learn more about strategies and techniques on how to defend my base, but also on how to attack and get revenge on the people that had attacked my base. And then after I'd read through that wiki, I'd scroll through Reddit, and then I'd be scrolling through people's Snapchats, and it was just this constant loop of consumption, right? Basically, my focus was completely absorbed by these external entities, if you like, which is exactly, what these companies want, right? Because if they have your attention, then it just means that they can show you ads. And if they can show you ads, then they technically get more money from that, right? Everybody knows that. So what I ended up doing after all of these years of consumption was actually a dopamine detox. And that's because my life was in such a mess that I needed to do something. And this was extremely eye-opening for me, because it made me realize what I could achieve productivity-wise when I actually put my mind to something and didn't have any distractions. And there'll be people online that are going to tell you things like, dopamine detoxes don't actually work like that, and it's actually to do with the neuroplasticity of the Cox membrane, or do you know what I mean? Mate, I'm not a doctor, bud, right? Do I look like a doctor? I don't know all of the different technicalities of all the different sciences or whatever it actually means. I just wanted to put an end to my bad habits and start incrementing some good habits slowly into my life. And I think that's what 99% of the people want to do that, are doing a dopamine detox. And quite frankly, I found this fantastic for me. Stopping the bad habits and starting the good habits made such a difference to my life. So if you feel like you could do with something like that, it will set up your future just so well, man. So what I'll do is I'll leave a link to my dopamine detox video in the description below so that you can watch that. after this one, of course, because for now I've got some other bits of advice that, I'd like to share with you. And that first thing is to create a habit tracker, which means that you can essentially focus on building your habits first. That's what the tracker is going to allow you to do, okay? Because what it's going to allow is it's going to allow you to analyze what habits you've been consistent with and which ones you need to work on, because obviously, you're going to have it as like a visual kind of document on your wall, as you're going to write it out and stay consistent with checking it off every single day. And if you can't stay on top of them all, on top of all the habits, I'd suggest reducing the amount of time that you spend on each habit. And that's going to allow you to build the habit. Like, instead of spending, an hour meditating or an hour in the gym, literally just, reduce that amount of time by 25% if you have to. So if you're only in the gym for 15 minutes, then so be it. And then you can work on gradually increasing that time as time goes on. We tend to think that, we have more in the day than we actually do. This is just a fact. And, initially the habit tracker is just about getting things done as opposed to having the quality, It's just getting the things done, and then you can focus on quality as time goes on. The second thing that I'd suggest is that you focus on progress, not perfection. Of course, that kind of ties in with the point that I just said above, It's all about building the habit of consistency first. That's so important to remember. If you build the habit of consistency first, then it's just going to completely set up your foundations as how you mean to continue on with this journey. And the third thing I'd say is that you want to be removing temptation. If you can't stop playing your Xbox, just sell it, bud. I know that might sound a bit extreme, but we're talking about actually changing your life here and making a real difference. Then you're gonna have to do something that you've never done. Another thing is that if you can't stop watching porn, just block the websites, bud. You can download these plugins. I'm sure you've heard about them before. Just try it again, download these plugins, and then you won't be able to access these websites, right? And the fifth thing that I'd suggest you do is to have a reward system. And that's because I find that self-improvement, it seems to be all about hustle culture nowadays. There's so many other guys making videos and, they're telling you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do anything that's somewhat fun or somewhat instantly gratifying. And I do kind of get it, but at the end of the day, you have to kind of work out, do you want to live like a monk? Because I know I don't, right? And my advice to you would be to say it's okay to enjoy the fruits of your labor sometimes. I'm saying that you want to be disciplined 95% of the time, but the other 5% of the time, you can enjoy your life a little bit, and actually earn the reward to the amount of time that you spent sacrificing. And I feel like this is going to allow you to stay consistent, because you're not always just in this monk mode, right? That's my advice. Believe you can, and you're more than halfway there.